Hello, my name's Elaine Farndale. I'm the Director for the Centre for International Human Resource Studies and for the School of Labour and Employment Relations here at Penn State University in the USA. And I'm here today to tell you all about CRANET. So CRANET is a research network. It's the acknowledged leader in all aspects of international human resource management research with both theoretical and practical implications. Coordinated by the Cranfield School of Management in the UK until 2020, CRANET is now affiliated with the College of the Liberal Arts at Penn State in the US and is housed within our Centre for International Human Resource Studies. The purpose of CRANET has not changed since its inception. The object was and is to gather hard evidence in the local language about how HRM policies and practices vary between countries and to see how they change over time. The network offers academics, practitioners, government bodies, and international institutions informed research, as well as guidance on international and comparative HRM practices. The network itself is a collaboration between universities and business schools across almost 50 countries today. This collaboration allows CRANET to carry out regular international comparative survey of organizational HRM practices across the world, provide benchmarks for comparing individual countries with developments elsewhere in the world, which allows a systematic comparative analysis of HRM trends, and disseminates research findings through news items, practitioner press, academic journals and books, as well as through conferences and seminars and in teaching. So CRANET started out in 1989 as the idea of Gavin Adam, then partner in the HRM practice of Pricewaterhouse in the UK. Adam contacted Professor Chris Brewster at the Cranfield School of Management, the original home of CRANET, and together they persuaded prestigious universities and business schools in 5 countries, France, Germany, Spain, Sweden, and the UK, to conduct the survey. Initially, the survey was conducted every year, but HRM policies and practices don't change that fast. So the survey since switched to its current multi-year cycle. After the first 3 years, Pricewaterhouse withdrew their support and the academic members found their own funding in each country to continue the project. The number of members grew each year. In the beginning, members had to be persuaded to join, but ever since, countries have been applying to join. The problem became not one of finding members, but of applying rigorous standards to ensure that the applicant members complemented those already in the network. The increasing number of countries also brought changes. First, when the number of countries involved was relatively small, all members participated in the questionnaire design, which allowed for variation in each round. This practice became unwieldy with more countries, so now a multicultural volunteer working group representing all the members designs the questionnaire. Second, a threshold for respondent organizations with 200 employees was chosen because the literature said that that was the size below which organizations tended not to have specialist HRM departments. It became clear that this was not the case in smaller countries, which pressed for the threshold to be reduced to 100 employees. Third, there was much discussion about the nature of the network. As it developed, each partner maintained ownership of their data and could only work with other countries' data when given permission. This method is effective as the members all share a common curiosity about comparative HRM and are prepared to work together and compromise when necessary. CRANET is now the largest HRM network in the world and the only one that has been collecting comparative data on HRM in different countries for over 3 decades. Articles based on the CRANET data have been published in some of the world's top journals and presented at some of the most prestigious academic conferences globally. CRANET is also proud to have presented its data at practitioner conferences internationally and to have had it published in local journals, newspapers, and throughout the broadcast media. So the CRANET questionnaire was first developed in 1989 based on the literature available then and on discussions with a network of academics with expertise in HRM. The survey has since been repeated multiple times and has been revised on each occasion with 2 goals in mind: maintaining consistency between data collection rounds and considering what is relevant and new in the field. Any changes have been introduced based upon updated literature reviews and discussions with the research team and with senior HR practitioners. For each survey round, the questionnaire is designed by a subsection of the network in cooperation with the coordinator and is then approved by the rest of the network. The questionnaire is developed in English and translated into national local language where appropriate. Translations of questions are slightly amended between national questionnaires to capture the nuances in meaning between languages. The questions are translated into the national language by a translator with some familiarity with HRM, and then translated back into English by a different translator. Any differences are discussed in order to capture the universal international comparative meaning of the terms as closely as possible. As much as possible, the questionnaire items are held comparable over the years, although insights and developments in HRM have led to several changes to the questionnaire. The survey is focused on factual questions about HRM practices in organizations and not opinions. This is to be able to capture the more objective elements of the HRM architecture and to be able to create a comparable base. In most cases, the survey is conducted using an online or postal questionnaire. Response rates in each country average 25%. In each instance, the respondent is the person with responsibility for HRM in the organization. The survey provides questions about the background of the respondent. The unit of response in each country is therefore the organization. This can mean the firm in its entirety or a relatively self-contained unit within a company, such as a subsidiary. There are questions in the survey that control for the nature of the organization. The sampling frames used in each country were designed to produce stratified representative samples by sector and size, and do so for all the countries involved. However, due to slightly differing sampling procedures in each country, a descriptive analysis of the CRANET data cannot claim to provide a representative global overview. In analysis, prospective authors introduce control variables to overcome possible biases. The data collection is conducted under the responsibility of each country in coordination with the Centre for International Human Resource Studies and the network as a whole. The intellectual ownership of the data resides with each country. The data are checked and cleaned by CIHRS in order to develop a clean data file that is made available for members with the proper permissions. Any processing, analysis, and reporting is done by members under the consent of all members that are part of the survey round in a particular year. The network meets twice per year to discuss important issues concerning the survey, analysis, and prospective publications. It discusses experiences in validating and analysing items from the questionnaire. This guarantees constant monitoring of the quality of the survey, of the analysis, and of the comparability of the outcomes and subsequent publications. You can find out more about CRANET on the CRANET website, www.cranet.org. I'll give you a brief overview of this now. So here is the CRANET webpage. You find out more about CRANET as a whole, the methodology that we have adopted. And in particular, there is one article available here that has recently been published, which explains a lot about the methodological pragmatism that we have undertaken in CRANET studies. It's very complex work, as I'm sure you can, trying to gather data from close to 50 countries at the same time in order to be able to have some comparable data at the end of the day. So there are some things that we have to just be pragmatic about in terms of sample sizes, response rates, and translations, all the different aspects of conducting such a survey. You can read more about this in the article published by Parry, Farndale, Brewster, and Morley on balancing rigor and relevance, the case for methodological pragmatism in conducting large-scale multi-country comparative management studies in the British Journal of Management. There are plenty of CRANET publications for you to look at as well. If we go through the list just briefly here, you can already see so many publications over the years that have come from the CRANET data. And this is just a drop in the ocean as I zoom through page after page where you can come and look and see all these publications over the years, ultimately starting in the 1990s when we were publishing our first papers out of the CRANET data, all the way up to this year, today. If you are a partner interested in joining, a potential partner interested in joining CRANET, there is information here as well. I hope that this has given you a taste of what we have been doing with CRANET as a whole. I'm now going to say a little bit about the current round of data collection that we are conducting with CRANET. So here's a snapshot of where we are with our current round of data collection. This is of January 2022. You can see here that we have some 46 countries involved in the data collection. And to date, we're looking at a total of around 5,500 complete responses, but we're not finished yet. We are still working on this. And then you can see the spread of data collection within each of the countries. So a large collection coming in from across Europe right now, and then some more from across North America, South America, and some parts of Asia. So we're very impressed with how much is coming in here at the moment. So this concludes the overall picture of CRANET, brought up to date, literally to the latest minute. If you have questions about CRANET and the work that we're doing, you can always email us at cranet@psu.edu, or take a look on our webpage and contact us there. Thank you very much.